Good evening, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing about the modalities for ONGC interview. I'm sure all of you who have joined for the session today, you have already downloaded your call letter and you're well aware of the date of your interview. So we'll take a look at what do we need to prepare? What do we really need to work on in order to excel in this interview? See, I'm sure all of you are aware that earlier ONGC used to be recruiting based on the GATE score. But from this year onwards, they have reverted back to conducting their own exam. They used to conduct their own exam till the year 2014. And when they conducted their own exam in 2014, which was clashing with the date of the mains second exam of engineering services, there was a paper leak, and from that day onwards, they decided that they will make the shortlist. They will do the shortlisting of the candidates based on the GATE score. But this year onwards, once again, they have reverted back to their own exam, the CBT computer-based test, and that is what they have done this year. When I was looking at the list of vacancies, I found that there were a number of disciplines which were missing. Like, for example, there were no vacancies for electronics. There were no vacancies for material management officer. There were no vacancies for civil engineers. In fact, in today's shortlist that we have, based on the students who have submitted their call details, I could notice primarily 4 branches. I'll take a look at it. Three of them are mechanical, and one is electrical. Of course, there are candidates who have been shortlisted for chemicals and geology and other disciplines. But as far as MADE set of students are concerned, we have primarily for students who are from mechanical engineering stream and from electrical engineering stream. And as you're well aware that PSUs are always going in for a combination of the branch of engineering and the branch of GATE. Of course, in this case, because ONGC is not recruiting through GATE, therefore the EE and EE combination is no longer valid, except for the fact that you have to comply with the eligibility conditions given in the advertisement released by ONGC, right? So we'll make use of PPT essentially just to keep you focused. And then, of course, we'll go through the entire coverage by and by. This session is being sent live on YouTube Live also. So those of you who are not having the Zoom login, they must have joined from YouTube Live. Immediately, I'll not be responding to your queries which are coming on the YouTube. But after a while, I'll definitely take a look at the queries and respond to each one of those. And those of you who are joined on the Zoom, you can always send the messages in the chat box. But there is only one request: for the first 1 hour at least, don't send messages on the chat box, because whatever doubts, whatever questions that you're having in your mind, they are likely that they are already getting addressed. So have patience, thoda sa dhairya rakhein. All possible questions that you are having in your mind, they will get addressed. Not only that, we'll be sending you a mail which will contain a set of useful links which will help you with your preparation for this interview. But obviously, it will be possible to send these links only to those students who are filling up the details in the Google Forms that is available in the link which you clicked when you joined through the YouTube live session. And only then we'll be able to send it to you. Otherwise, we have really no means of knowing to whom to send and to whom not to send. All right. So I think with this little background, we'll get it going. The slides, as I said, we are going to be using 4 or 5 slides, and we'll focus on that. In case those of you who have joined on Zoom, if you're not able to hear, you can switch over to the YouTube live session. There is no problem. The same content is being streamed live there. And if you're able to hear, then obviously it's perfect. So let me first go for sharing the PPT so that I can get it going. I'll turn off my video or make it minimized. Yes, I think this is fine. I'll try to maximize the screen for your viewing. Yes, here we are. All right. See, the 4 job profiles which I was telling are primarily Assistant Executive Engineer Electrical, Assistant Executive Engineer Mechanical Engineering Drilling, Mechanical Engineering Mechanical, and Mechanical Engineering Production. Now, there must be a big worry in your mind that for the electrical engineering students, they have said that you must have electrical supervisor certificate. But if you have cared to read the details, they want that electrical supervisor certificate to be made available within 2 years of joining. And in fact, they facilitate it for you. It's nothing great. If you can get it from your place, that will be well and good. Otherwise, they'll facilitate the electrical supervisor certificate for you. Drilling, mechanical, and production. These are all 3 streams which relate to mechanical engineering. Then there is, drilling chemical, then there is production chemical, then there is other streams also, but we are obviously not focusing on them. We'll be focusing only on these 4 streams. The reason why I had decided to highlight these 4 job profiles is because we'll want to take a look at what subjects to be prepared, right? So that was primarily the reason why we wanted to cover this aspect. Essentially speaking, what we are going to cover by way of this session will be some details about ONGC, the organization where you are going for the interview. And this will be by way of showing you a glimpse of the corporate presentation, which is there on the ONGC website also. Let me tell you, the day on which you go for the interview, the venue is Scope Minar, Lakshmi Nagar. It's walking distance from the Nirman Vihar metro station for those of you who are knowing about the metro routes. And before they start the process, they will make you go through this presentation. Either somebody will be making the presentation in person, or they'll make you go through a video, which will be nothing but this presentation converted into an audio visual. Nevertheless, I'll just take you through the highlights of some of the things which are required. The reason why I'm making this statement is that as a part of the interview process, you may be asked a few questions about ONGC. And naturally, the organization where you are going for the interview, you are supposed to have at least some knowledge about the organization. जहां पे भी आप जॉब इंटरव्यू के लिए जा रहे हैं, आपको उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बारे में थोड़ी सी डिटेल्स होना जरूरी है. I mean, at least the name of the chairman and managing director. The present chairman and managing director of ONGC is Mr. Arun Kumar Singh. And he is one of those, who has been selected after he retired as the CMD of BPCL. In fact, that is a trend which is catching up in the various CPSCs or PSUs, as we call them, right? And then, of course, the list of other directors, again, I'm going to be showing and discussing as part of this presentation itself, right? Subject knowledge, which means preferred subjects to be prepared. See, naturally, when you're going to ONGC, and if you say that my favorite subject is machine design, I'm just taking an example, no offense for students who are fond of studying machine design. It's a subject which is not really relevant for these 3 positions. But had you said my favorite subject is pumps, let's say fluid machinery, which means pumps and compressors, definitely it's an important subject from ONGC point of view. If you say my favorite subject is industrial engineering, once again, it's important for these one of the 3 profiles, right? So the idea is that if you talk logically, naturally you create a more positive impression, right? We'll talk about, obviously, you need to know about yourself, which means your credentials, your project, internship, achievements, strengths and weaknesses, your family details, hobbies, and extracurricular activities. And then a piece of suggestion for you, Read the newspaper regularly, particularly news related to the oil sector. Now, obviously, हैबिट तो है नहीं न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने की, और उसमें से भी ऑयल सेक्टर की न्यूज कैसे ढूंढ के लाएंगे? डोंट वरी, यू कैन टेक अ शॉर्टकट फॉर दिस. जस्ट विजिट द वेबसाइट ऑफ ओएनजीसी, और वहां पे देयर इज अ टैब कॉल्ड प्रेस रिलीज. Just click on the press release and you'll get everything that you need to know about news related to ONGC, news related to oil sector, right? So with this background, we are going ahead. See, I have connected my other device also. Therefore, I was just looking at that in case there is anything improper happening. So just for that, I was turning aside. All right. These are the 5 broad areas which we are going to be covering. A quick word about the preferred dress. I'll never use the term dress code. The preferred dress for this interview process, the entry, exit, and greeting, the possible flow of questions, the preferred list of subjects to be prepared, and how to handle some difficult questions. These are primarily the non-tech questions I'm talking about, or the HR questions as you normally use the terminology, right? There is a list of 12, 13, 14 questions which I have already prepared. I'll just show it to you in a while. Go through those list of questions, and in case there is a question which is over and above, please note it down in your notepad. And when we are through with our coverage, definitely I'll ask some of you to unmute, those of you who are connected on the Zoom, or if you have posted that particular question in the YouTube channel, then I'll take it up to that. Okay, so it is getting covered. Be assured of that. Be assured of that. Right? I'll connect one of my devices to the YouTube also so that I can see the chat and not miss out on any of them. But please don't send any messages right now. Right now, I'll not be able to see any of the questions. So let's start with the dress. What kind of dress is suitable for this interview? Remember, the venue is Delhi. And at present, in fact, the temperature in Delhi, starting from the date of your interview, I think your interviews are starting from the 7th of April. It is reasonably warm. So obviously, a three-piece suit would not be the right attire for the interview as far as boys are concerned. The dress I'm wearing today, which means I'm having a shirt and trouser. I have put on a tie. Yes, I'm fond of using a tie whenever it's possible, but don't use the color of the tie which I'm using. You can go in a shirt and trouser with a tie, but use the tie only if, I'm using the term if and only if you are comfortable using a tie. If you're not comfortable using a tie, it does not matter. Don't use a tie. Simply use shirt and trouser, full sleeve shirt, preferably with a pocket. Just like I have put the fountain pen in the shirt pocket, you can also do something like that. Avoid using a long pen. I probably have the longer pen also with me just to show you. Yes. See, this is typically the pen which you are used to. This is a Reynolds. But when you use it, it will jut out of the pocket. So avoid using this kind of a pen. Use the normal pen with a cap, and that is what would be ideal. But make sure that the pen you are having in your pocket is a working pen. It should not happen that you start writing and then suddenly you have to keep on doing something like that as if you are resetting the thermometer. No, that should be avoided, right? Take a working pen, keep it in your shirt pocket. The color of the shirt, again, I'll keep using the term preferred color of the shirt. The preferred color of the shirt is either white, cream, very light blue, or very light gray. Please do not use the shirt which is colored pink, purple, magenta, turquoise, mustard, dark blue, and any shades, any dark shades. Avoid that. Plain, very light colored shirt, but except for the colors which I mentioned. Lemon color again is an avoidable color, right? The trouser can be a plain dark colored trouser. It can have maybe thin stripes. There is no problem in it. But again, there is one combination which can be avoided. And that combination is white shirt and black trouser. The reason why I'm saying this combination can be avoided is because it is the combination which is the dress of a waiter. So you can avoid using this combination. You can use black trouser perfectly fine. But instead of using a plain white shirt, you can use a very light blue or a very light gray colored shirt. That will be perfect for the occasion. There is absolutely no problem at all. All right. Then shoes should preferably be black with laces. Again, preferred black with laces. If you already have dark tan color shoes with or without laces, please go ahead. No need of buying fresh shoes. If you have black shoes without laces, please go ahead. It's fine, no problems. But don't use a pair of shoes which are having a thin, long, pointed nose. They are not formal wear. They are party wear shoes. So go for any formal wear shoes, properly polished. Your shirt and trouser obviously has to be neatly ironed. If you want to use a jacket means a coat. Yes, you can use a dark blue or a black or a dark gray colored jacket. Again, a tendency on the part of the students is that they enter with the buttons closed, and then after entering the room, they will do the unbuttoning part. Please, if you are wanting to wear a coat, unbutton it before you enter the interview room. Because when you open the buttons after entering the room, it is a distraction for the panel. That's why it is avoidable, right? Belt, black leather belt with a formal buckle. Don't use a buckle which has a, photograph of your favorite cinestars or your WWE character or maybe a Disney character. No, a formal buckle, black leather belt is the preferred one. Well ironed, neat clothes are the most important criteria. Your hair should be properly combed and they should be neatly trimmed. Like my hair needs a cut. My hair have really grown. I got a haircut about 2 months back. I need to get it done immediately now. So get it trimmed right away if the hair has grown very long, right? Need not use hair oil, but they should be in proper place, right? My recommendation is to have a bath on the day of the interview, not because it is considered auspicious to have a bath on the day of your interview. Very important interview, really speaking. But the reason why I'm saying it is so that you don't have to use a DO. The use of DO is very strictly to be avoided. And once again, there is a reason, there is a rationale behind this suggestion. Some people are highly allergic to the smell of the DO. It should not happen that as soon as you enter the room, you are smelling of the best possible DO that you wanted. But then one of the panel members, being allergic to the smell of a DO, he walks out of the room sneezing away to glory. Definitely not an appreciable situation. Avoid using it. No rings in the hands, very strictly no rings in the hands. Boys, definitely no rings. Girls can have a maximum of 1 ring. Boys should not have ear studs. Don't use ear studs to make a fashion statement. No, not recommended. See, you're going for a very senior position. Remember, it's not the position of a mechanic. It's a position of assistant executive engineer. So maintain that decorum. Behave like an officer from the word you enter the premises. All right. And you have to be at your best behavior. It is not that you have to be at your best behavior only inside the interview room, but even when you are outside the interview room, when you're getting your documents checked, when you're interacting with the HR team or the administrative staff, you can't be arrogant. You cannot be arrogant. All these things are being monitored and watched and it can have an impact on a poor score coming your way in case there is something wrong, right? So I hope dress aspects for boys fully covered. Let's take a look at what kind of dress is preferred for girls. To start with, I'll start with a no. What is not preferred? What is not preferred is dressing in Western formals. Going for government job interviews, going for ESC interviews, going for PSU interviews, use of Western formals is to be avoided. You can go in a salwar suit, you can go in a kurti churidar, but not having a multicolored flowery print, pastel shades, Lucknowi work perfectly fine. Anything which is pastel shade, but not making a loud statement is an acceptable attire, right? Footwear for girls, avoid using high heels, and avoid using footwear that makes a sound when you walk on wooden floors. See, most of the offices have wooden flooring. So if you're having a very hard, foot sole, when you're walking on a wooden floor, it'll make sound. So avoid having that kind of a footwear. Maybe a padded footwear would be better. A rubber sole or a polyurethane sole or any of those soles would be the ideal fit for you, right? As I said, maximum one ring, a thin chain acceptable, small earrings acceptable. Don't go in those danglers, no. You're not going there to make a fashion statement. Please remember that you're going there for appearing in a very formal interview, and that is what you have to really be maintaining the decorum for. All right. So dress part is fine. If there are any queries, please make a note. I'll address any of the queries that you will keep shooting me. All right. Next comes the entry, exit, and greeting. When you are going there, obviously in the call letter, they have mentioned list of documents to be brought by you. I'll share the call letter also in a while and look at that. Plus, I'll also look at the application form that has been submitted by you, filled up or to be filled up. I'll cover those aspects also in case there is anything to be kept in mind. We'll address those finer points also, right? अब documents किस sequence में होने चाहिए? What is the sequence in which we should have the documents? The best sequence is the sequence in which those documents have been written in your call letter. Straight and simple. Put them in a document folder. I'm sure all of you must be already having a document folder with you, a black colored or a dark colored folder having about 20 transparent pockets. Keep the originals, one in each pocket, maybe two in each pocket back to back, kept in the same sequence as mentioned in the call letter. सबसे ऊपर कॉल लेटर रखो, उसके बाद उसके बैक साइड पे आप अपना एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म का प्रिंट आउट रखो, एंड देन ऑल दीज डॉक्यूमेंट्स, राइट? But whatever documents are mentioned, remember to carry at least 2 sets of photocopies with you. If they have mentioned self-attested photocopies, please do the self-attested on one set and keep it in a bunch in one of the pockets. And the second, which is an extra set, can be without the self-attestation. Just a matter of abundant caution. Obviously, the place where you're going for the interview, the Scope Minar in Lakshmi Nagar complex, there are plenty of shops available where you can get the photocopies done. There is no problem about it. But why take a chance? Why not get it done before you land up at that spot, right? Just pay attention to those small little things, and you will never get worked up. You will never face any difficulty. All right. So your document folder is ready. In addition to the certificates and the photocopy sets, you can also keep a few blank A4 size sheets. Remember to keep no document in that folder which does not connect with your interview process or with the call that you have received. In other words, don't carry the offer letter of PSU of an organization which you got as a part of your campus placement or the GATE scorecards. All those documents are irrelevant for the ONGC process. So please don't even keep them in that particular folder, right? You want to carry them, please carry them, but keep it in your bag, not in this folder, because this folder is something which you're going to carry with you when you enter the interview. All right. So you are waiting for your turn outside after the document verification has been done, after you've gone through the corporate presentation, which is to familiarize you with the activities of ONGC. Now it's your turn to go for the interview. Somebody will tell you, okay, Ravi, it's your turn to go for the interview. You will enter the room carrying your document folder, Now, before you enter the room, give a soft knock on the door. I've just put a knock on my laptop. I'm sure you would have heard it. Just give a soft knock on the board. Don't wait for somebody to respond. Don't wait for somebody to respond from inside, and open the door, right? You open the door, holding the door open with one hand, and your document folder is in the other hand. Let me see if I can manage to hold some document folder. Okay, all right. See, what I've done is I've just taken a, let's say, a writing pad, which I'm using as a document folder. I'm holding the door with my right hand, and I'm holding the folder in my left hand. I will not open the door and come back straight. No. Keep the door in place, because there is a door closer, and if you leave the door closer, the door will close once again and will maybe hit bang on your head. No, avoid that. Just hold the door in place. Your folder in your left hand. May I come in, sir? You don't have to say, may I come in, sir? Just like you used to do in school. No, that is not required. The hand is holding the door. That's why my hand is like this. It is not to seek permission कि मैं आ जाऊं अंदर. नहीं, right? Somebody will say, yes, please enter. You enter the room, and let's say this is the chair which is kept for you. You enter the room, and when you enter the room, you stand behind the chair. You are just standing behind the chair. Don't put your hand on the chair. No, just stand behind the chair. First, wish the chairperson. And then the rest of the members collectively. Now, how do you identify who is the chairperson in that panel? Right? Now, very simple to identify. If the number of panel members is odd, the person who is sitting in the middle is usually the chairperson. Or if there are even number of members, then maybe the person who is sitting in a chair with a relatively higher back would be the chairperson. So first, greet the chairperson. Good morning, sir. Morning, afternoon, or evening. Little caution, nothing else. By mistake, when your interview is at 12:30 p.m. and you have greeted as good morning, don't worry. Even if one of the panel members corrects you by saying good afternoon, sir. Acknowledge it with a little smile. Don't worry at all. Don't fumble. Don't get panicky. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिल्कुल कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Even civil services के इंटरव्यूज में स्टूडेंट्स ऐसी गलती कर देते हैं, and because of that there is absolutely no penalization. So please remember that. Just be your natural self and let it go. Right? Suppose there is a lady member and the rest of them are male members. Etiquette say first greet the lady member, good morning, ma'am, and then collectively you can say good morning, sirs. But let's say you have a lady member, you have the chairperson, and then you have two other members. Lady member, chairman, and the other two members collectively can be done. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sirs. Acceptable. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Right? But the reason why I'm saying wish the lady member first is because that is something which is expected. That's why. And don't point to the chair, may I sit? अंदर घुसते ये मत बोलो may I sit. कोई जरूरत नहीं. You will be offered a seat. After acknowledging your greetings, maybe one of the members says, please have a seat. Thank you, sir. अब फोल्डर का क्या करना है हमने? कहां पे रखेंगे? Where do we keep the folder? You are a right-hander, right? When you are a right-hander, that means you want to write. You want the right side, the center portion in front of you should not be obstructed. The portion on the right-hand side of you should not be obstructed. So keep the folder on your left. And in case you are left-hander, keep the folder on your right. It's just a matter of convenience. There is no protocol, right? commonly made mistake. As soon as you are seated, the first thing that is done, I'm saying the first thing that is done by a number of students is, if there is a pen or pencil kept in front of you, you simply grab that और उसको पकड़ के डमरू बजाना शुरू कर देते। अगर पेन पेंसिल सामने नहीं है तो अपनी एंजाइटी को कंट्रोल करने के लिए आप अपना पेन निकाल लेते हो और उसको घुमाना शुरू कर देते। आदत बन चुकी है, क्या करें? The pen should come in your hand if and only if you have to write something to explain the response to a question. No. Otherwise, let the pen remain in your pocket. बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बहुत सुंदर दिखता है। पेन पेंसिल को अपने हाथ में नहीं लेना है। और ये जरूरी नहीं है कि हर क्वेश्चन का आंसर आप राइटिंग में एक्सप्लेन करके दें। See, when I hold the session for BARC, I'm going to be talking completely different things. So don't mix up the two. Don't mix up the two. This is strictly for ONGC or, for that matter, any other PSU variable. Now, this coverage will remain uniformly the same. There'll be absolutely no change at all, right? All that I'll do is I'll replace ONGC with the name of that particular PSU. But for BARC, ISRO, it's going to be a different ballgame. Even for DRDO, it's going to be a different ballgame, right? So anyway, we are not covering that. We are addressing for ONGC and or any other similar PSU or a government organization, right? You have dressed up, you have entered the room, you have greeted the panel, you have been asked to sit down, and now you are waiting to be slaughtered. There is no slaughter. Mat ghabrao. It's a conversation. Interview is nothing but a conversation. Remember that. They're just having a conversation. It is not to cause any stress to you. No. So be at ease. Be at ease. Right? Possible flow of questions. Usually the first question can be, tell us something about yourself. Or what do you want us to know about you? Right? Or introduce yourself. मतलब तो सेम है ना, अपने बारे में हमें कुछ बताइए। अब अपने बारे में हमने क्या बताना है, अपनी आत्मकथा का क्या, कौन सा पन्ना, कौन सा पृष्ठ हमने खोल के उनको बताना है, we'll take a look at. So you can give all the details in the word about yourself, but the question is, are they interested in listening to all those details? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they are not wanting to listen to every single minute detail about yourself. They'll probably want to know some highlights about yourself. We'll take a look at what should be covered by way of replying to this question, right? There are a set of 6-7 points which you need to cover, but always remember, you may not get the opportunity of completing your introduction. See, आपने 7 लाइन सोच रखी थी कि अपने बारे में बताओ, but after the second or the third sentence that you have spoken, they will interrupt you and they will start off with a question which is emerging based on what you have stated. It means that you need not worry about the rest of your introduction. The interview process has already started, and let it go on. Let it go. That's it. Your interview has started, the flow has begun, and swim with the flow. All right? At this point, I'm taking a little break, a diversion. And what is a diversion that I'm taking? Majority of you, I'm not saying I won't, maybe majority, may not be majority, but a large number of candidates are very scared of facing any interview. Sir, English में हाथ बहुत तंग है. होता है, इंजीनियर लोगों का हाथ अंग्रेजी में बहुत तंग होता है. मेरा भी था as a student. But how do we make it acceptable? See, they are not looking for perfect correctness in terms of your grammatical English. No. They are not looking for any hi-fi sounding words. Definitely not. They are looking for clear answers which are easy to understand, which means very simple English, short sentences, and it should not appear that they are crammed. रट्टा लगाए हुए आंसर उनको अच्छे नहीं लगते. And they'll point out also, भाई ये तो लग रहा है तुम रटा रटाया आंसर दे रहे हो. Don't be surprised if you get this response in the interview. Some of you who have already appeared in some interview process, they can confirm whatever statements I'm making. What should we do? मेरे से तो बोला नहीं जाता, मैं तो सामने 4 लोगों को देखता हूं, मेरे को तो पैनिक अटैक आ जाता है. वेरी सिंपल एक्सरसाइज यू हैव टू डू. आज 1 अप्रैल है, अर्लीस्ट इंटरव्यू 7 तारीख को है. 6 दिन का टाइम है तुम्हारे पास. उन 6 दिनों में ही आप अपने लिए बहुत ही इजीली अपने कॉन्फिडेंस को इंप्रूव कर सकते हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंप्रूविंग योर कम्युनिकेशन. क्या करना है? टेक अ न्यूज़पेपर. कोई भी न्यूज़पेपर ले लो, कोई मैगजीन ले लो, कोई सब्जेक्ट की किताब उठा लो. जस्ट ओपन अ पेज ऑन योर सब्जेक्ट बुक and start reading it aloud. Read it loud for about half an hour. Loud मतलब shout नहीं करना. Loud का मतलब है mumble नहीं करना, but audible tone में बोलना है. और अगर हो सके तो उसको अपने फोन के वॉइस रिकॉर्डर में रिकॉर्ड भी करते जाओ. अब आपने आधा घंटा मत बोलिए, चलिए स्टार्ट विद 10 मिनट्स. जस्ट रीड आउट फॉर 10 मिनट्स और उसको रिकॉर्ड करो. फिर जो रिकॉर्डिंग किया है उसको रिप्ले करो और सुनो आपने क्या बोला. क्या आपको सुनने में पसंद आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा? लाइक व्हेन आई एम स्पीकिंग टू यू, व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग टू यू, एम आई एबल टू कन्वे एवरी सिंगल वर्ड क्लियरली एंड क्रिस्पली और नॉट? मेरा कोई ऐसा वर्ड तो नहीं है जो आप लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा हो. अगर ऐसा है तो प्लीज पॉइंट इट आउट. एक और क्वेश्चन आपके मन में आ रहा है कि व्हाई एम आई स्पीकिंग ओनली इन इंग्लिश, व्हाई नॉट हिंदी? आई एम ट्राइंग टू इंटरस्पर्स विद हिंदी ऑल्सो. बीच बीच में हिंदी में भी बोलता हूं. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं पूरा का पूरा सेशन हिंदी में नहीं ले सकता, बिल्कुल ले सकता हूं हिंदी. द रीजन व्हाई आई एम स्पीकिंग इन इंग्लिश इज आई वांट यू टू बिकम फेमिलियर विथ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज सेंटेंसेस कमिंग टू यू फ्रॉम समबडी एल्स. क्योंकि इंटरव्यू पैनलिस्ट जो है वो तो आपसे इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे ना. दे विल आस्क क्वेश्चंस इन इंग्लिश ओनली, राइट? यू मे आंसर देम इन हिंदी. अब अगर ऐसा है कि मेरे को इंग्लिश बोलने में तो भैया पैनिक शुरू हो जाएगा, तो मेरे को तो हिंदी में बोलना है, तो मैं क्या करूं? एम आई परमिटेड टू आंसर इन हिंदी? सो यू कैन मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट टू द पैनल, सर प्लीज अलाउ मी टू यूज मिक्स ऑफ हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश. 99.9% टाइम वो मना नहीं करेंगे. सिर्फ एक पीएसयू में ऐसा होता था. द नेम ऑफ दैट पीएसयू वाज बीपीसीएल, और कभी कभी एचपीसीएल में होता है. बाकी किसी भी पीएसयू में they don't say no to you wanting to speak in Hindi. You are well aware of the fact that weightage of interview in ONGC selection process is 15%. 15% weightage इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस का है, और उस 15 मार्क्स का 60% जो है वो है कट ऑफ स्कोर फॉर जनरल कैटेगरी, ओबीसी एनसीएल एंड ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी. For other categories, the minimum score that you have to get in the interview is 40%. That is 6 out of 15. 9 out of 15 for general category, OBC, EWS, and 6 marks for SC, ST, and PWD category. Please remember that. And believe me, in the written exam, even if your score is 83 out of 85, you can still not get selected by ONGC. I don't use the word rejected. I'll say not get selected. और उसके लिए मेरे पास एक बहुत glowing example है. 5-6 years back, there was a candidate, a gate ranker. Maybe his gate rank was 7 or 8, single digit gate rank, and he did not get selected. Why did he not get selected? Because his interview score was 8.5 out of 15. OBC NCL candidate, 8.5 out of 15 was his interview score. The number 8.5 was deliberately chosen so that he is not eligible even for consideration in the wait list. The same thing can happen. So, but the reason why he got 8.5 was because he was very arrogant. His behavior was very arrogant during the interview process. You know, he was throwing answers as if like he's speaking to his subordinates. He must be having some reason. He may not have wanted to get selected by ONGC at all. Besides the point. So speaking clearly, speaking unambiguously, and with clarity is the most desirable trait in any interview. So आपके जो आंसर्स हैं अगर आप हिंदी में भी दे रहे हैं तो नेचुरली जो टेक्निकल टर्म्स हैं वो तो इंग्लिश में ही बोलेंगे, बिकॉज पंप और कंप्रेसर का हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन तो आपको आता नहीं है, मेरे को भी नहीं आता, राइट? इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग को तो आप इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग ही बोलेंगे ना, कैलकुलेटर को आप कैलकुलेटर बोलेंगे. सो ऑब्वियसली that is something which is expected, and they also know it. Request them to permit you to speak in mix of Hindi and English, and try the mix of Hindi and English to the extent it is possible. But once they have said please go ahead, that means आपके लिए कोई बैरियर नहीं है लैंग्वेज. तो इसलिए अगर आप ज्यादा हिंदी और कम इंग्लिश यूज कर रहे हैं तो इट्स एन एक्सेप्टेबल आंसर. आपकी इंटरव्यू की इवैल्यूएशन में कमी नहीं आएगी. You won't get rejected because of use of Hindi and English in the interview process. All right. Which subjects to be prepared, and finally, how to handle difficult questions. This is what we are planning to cover. Now, let me come to the very first question, which is like an icebreaker. And when I say icebreaker, the start of the interview can be using that particular question, which is tell us something about yourself, right? I'm just showing this complete slide to you. Take a look at it. Just read the content of this slide. I'm keeping it on for about 5 seconds and then I'll move on. I was just reading some messages in the YouTube. Somebody said, is it on the basis of GATE scorecard? No, it is not. It is not on the basis of GATE scorecard. Okay. So I hope you have read this. See, this is just a suggestive sequence. The reason why I'm saying it's a suggestive sequence in which you should be responding to the questions, responding to the question about tell us something about yourself, because it makes logical sense. See, there is no point in first talking about your family because that's not important. What is important is about your qualification. What is important is your performance. If you have done any summer internship, if, the title of your BTech project, if you've done masters, these are more important details for them. No doubt they have asked you to fill it up in the form. No doubt about it. But as I said, they are checking your communication skills. Are you able to convey your point across? That is what they are trying to check. And that is exactly what is coming out in this conversation. And they are keen to check that, right? Now, there can be two possible answers, Good morning, sir. दोबारा से आपने गुड मॉर्निंग बोल दिया. क्यों गुड मॉर्निंग बोला? क्योंकि आपको ये रटाया गया था. गुड मॉर्निंग, पहले गुड मॉर्निंग बोलना, उसके बाद फिर अपनी डिटेल देना. गुड मॉर्निंग सर, माय नेम इज रवि कुमार, आई बिलोंग टू अमेठी, आई डन माय बीटेक फ्रॉम सच एंड सच कॉलेज, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. पहले स्कूल का नाम बताया, फिर स्कूल में 10th क्लास में परसेंटेज बताया, 12th में परसेंटेज बताया. दे आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. वन सिंगल स्टेटमेंट, सर आई एम रवि, after completing my BTech from Delhi College of Engineering in 1976, I started working. एक तो ये तरीका है, मैंने अपनी डिटेल दी नहीं बीटेक डिग्री की. बट दूसरा तरीका ये है, सर आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग माय स्कूलिंग फ्रॉम माय होम टाउन विच इज सीतापुर, आई जॉइंड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग एंड टेक्नोलॉजी लखनऊ टू परस्यू माय बीटेक इन मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग. कोई डिटेल नहीं दी मैंने स्कूल के नाम की, ना स्कूल का नाम, ना बोर्ड, ना परसेंटेज, ना 10th, ना 12th, कुछ भी नहीं दिया. कोई जरूरत ही नहीं. पासिंग ऑफ 12th, मूविंग इनटू कॉलेज, and completing my BTech in the year XYZ. Right? As a part of my BTech course curriculum, I went for 4-week long summer training to Badarpur Thermal Power Project. That is what I'm stating about myself. So mine was a 5-year course curriculum, and at the end of 3rd year, we went for 6 weeks to Badarpur Thermal Power Project. At that time, the first unit was operational, and unit number 2 and unit number 3, they were being installed. They were under installation and commissioning. Unit 2 was under commissioning, and unit 2 was in advanced stage of installation. Right? मैंने अपनी internship के बारे में बताया. उसके बाद we also had a full semester long training. So I went for the semester training, which is in the 8th semester, to IBM Mumbai, Bombay. ट्रेनिंग बता दिया, दोनों ट्रेनिंग कहां गया, कितनी ड्यूरेशन थी और कब गया, ये सब डिटेल्स दे दी. इमीडिएटली आफ्टर दैट बीटेक प्रोजेक्ट. अब बीटेक प्रोजेक्ट का एग्जांपल मैं देता हूं. एक मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट ने बोला, सर माय बीटेक प्रोजेक्ट वाज अबाउट थर्मल पावर प्लांट. अब ये अबाउट थर्मल पावर प्लांट क्या होता है? थर्मल पावर प्लांट को तुमने डिजाइन किया था, या उसका चित्र बनाया था, या उसको ब्लास्ट किया था, या उसका कार्डबोर्ड मॉडल बनाया था? तुमने थर्मल पावर प्रोजेक्ट का क्या किया था? दैट्स नॉट द वे यू हैव टू स्पीक. In fact, BTech project is an opportunity available to you to convey something very important. Let me tell you about my project. Sir, my final year BTech project was design, fabrication, and testing of digital tachometer. This is part 1 of my statement, which was successfully completed as a member of 4-member project team. Part 1 is clearly giving the title of the project. Part 2 is talking about the completion of the project, and not that it was a solo project, but it was done as a part of 4-member project. Very clear? What is the advantage of making this statement? Why should I make this statement? बोलने का पर्पस क्या है इस स्टेटमेंट को? बोलने का पहला पर्पस है कि हमने डिजाइन भी किया प्रोजेक्ट, हमने उसको फैब्रिकेट किया, फिर उसको कंप्लीट किया. टेस्टिंग इज ओनली आफ्टर कंप्लीशन ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, राइट? सेकेंड पार्ट का पर्पस क्या है? इट वॉज कंप्लीटेड, विच मीन्स एनी प्रॉब्लम्स दैट केम आवर वे, वी सॉल्व दोज प्रॉब्लम्स. वी वर 4 of us वर्किंग टुगेदर. दैट मीन्स वी वर वर्किंग एज अ टीम. अब मेरे 2 स्ट्रेंथ्स मेरे सेकेंड सेंटेंस में निकल के आई हैं. कौन कौन सी स्ट्रेंथ्स मेरे सेकेंड सेंटेंस में निकल के आ गई? पहली स्ट्रेंथ जो निकल के आई है, दैट इज I have problem solving skills. जब आपने बीटेक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करना शुरू किया, देखो 2 तरीके हैं. या तो आपने पका पकाया सबमिट कर दिया, दैट मीन्स अ प्री कंप्लीटेड प्रोजेक्ट परचेज्ड फ्रॉम XYZ बुक डिपो, यू सबमिटेड, विच इज डन. या आपने किसी सीनियर का उठाया, वो लगा दिया, पॉसिबल है. बट वी डिसाइडेड टू डू इट आवरसेल्व्स. सो we actually did the work, and in our case, the college was funding the entire cost of the project. Any components which were required, some components we got from the college lab, but majority of the components we had to go and buy from the market. Fortunately for us, our college at that time was in Kashmiri Gand, and the component market was in near Red Fort, Lajpat Rai market, and we were able to get every single component for there. Obviously, we were not using any microprocessors because microprocessors were not there at that time. I'm talking about the year 1976. The first of the microprocessors had started becoming available commercially at that time, right? So we used discrete TTL logics to design the circuit and go for the testing. There was the mechanical part also, mechanical gadget also, which was required to be fabricated. All that work was done by ourselves, right? We got some help in some form or the other, but then majority of the work got done by the 4 of us, 5 of us who were working together, right? So don't say it was thermal power. It was about thermal power project. अपने project title को exactly crisply बताओ. There can be questions related to that. There could be questions related to that. Up at this point itself, I am raising a question. सर मैंने ना समर ट्रेनिंग तो बस सर्टिफिकेट मैनेज कर लिया था, तो शुड आई टेल? अपने आप मत बताओ, डोंट टॉक अबाउट योर समर ट्रेनिंग. See, in our case, we had actually worked. We had gone to BTPP. We were going, I mean, we were going for picnic, but obviously it was learning while enjoying the picnic also. So we used to go there. 6 दिन जाना होता था, 6 में से 4 दिन तो जाते ही थे. But we had very, very cordial relationship with our supervisors. The junior engineer, one Mr. Suryanarayan was there, and the assistant executive engineer, the name I still remember, Mr. AC Hari. They were very cordial, they were very helpful, and they really gave us a lot of inputs, very positive inputs we got. And I would still remember, right? IBM, of course, I got an opportunity to work with my supervisor even in one of the jobs which I had taken up in DCM Data Products. In fact, the product design manager of DCM Data Products at that time was Mr. Ashok Sharma, and he was in that same lab where I was posted in during my IBM training. All right. So one line in training and BTech project. If you have done MTech, again, the same information. Sir, I completed my MTech in electrical machines from IIT Kharagpur in 2024 with a CGPA of 7.96 or percentage of 78%. जो भी हो. The title of my MTech thesis was, again, give the exact title. It was about this, ये नहीं बोलना, जो title है वो बताइए. See, there is every possibility that they might be interested to have some questions related to your MTech thesis. बताइए, बिल्कुल आंसर कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल आप उनको डिटेल में बता सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, कोई इश्यू नहीं है उसके बारे में. तो बताना भी चाहिए उनको डिटेल में, right? They may be interested in doing some cross questioning. If you have any work experience, please give details. Do not be shy of giving details of your work experience. Sir, I worked for 18 months with Vedanta Resources, and I was posted to the aluminium smelter unit in Odisha. Bolo, koi problem. Obviously, the work that you were doing was probably related to your core branch. It's an advantage for you. What were your key learnings from your work experience is the question that can be asked from you. So be in a position to elaborate. You were in the operation and maintenance section, breakdown maintenance, preventive maintenance, all those lines can be questioned from you as a part of your work experience. Vedanta Resources की क्या activities थी, aluminium बनाने की process क्या थी, where from were they sourcing the alumina, what is smelting process, what is the temperature which is required to be achieved, what do you mean by what purity of aluminium, how does how do the properties of aluminium compare with those of copper, as a mechanical engineer. And obviously it's important as an electrical engineer also, because both are conducting materials, and we are having copper wires as well as aluminium wires. Obviously we prefer aluminium wires these days because of the cost factor and because of the rampant theft of copper. Be clear about these things. They can be part of the questions which can be asked from you. If you participated in any extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities, you can talk about it, right? If you were participating in any sports activities, or you had joined NCC in school and or college, you were regularly playing some games, indoor and or outdoor, any specific achievements during while pursuing any of these sports activities, again, can be highlighted. I'm using the term can be highlighted. It is not must be highlighted. अगर opportunity मिले तो आप highlight कर सकते हैं, right? Strengths and weaknesses to be answered, to be conveyed only if they ask you. Don't say that I have problem solving skills and I'm a team player, I'm very hardworking, I'm honest, I'm punctual. ये hardworking, honest और punctual तो सारे ही होते हैं, चाहे कभी कोई क्लास टाइम पे नहीं गए होंगे कॉलेज में, बट पंक्चुअल जरूर बोलेंगे कि मेरी ये स्ट्रेंथ है, राइट? मत बोलिए, because that is something which is expected. Yeah, if you're working in an organization, obviously these days you are forced to be punctual because of the in punch and out punch. You have to put your thumb impression on for the attendance, for recording your attendance. So obviously you have to be responding in that context, right? Strengths and weaknesses, only if asked. Only if asked. All right. Right. There is no group discussion in ONGC. ONGC does not conduct group discussion as a part of the selection process. 85 marks for the written exam, 85% for the written exam, 15% for the interview performance. That's it. That is what forms. There is no weightage for qualifications. In fact, in the earlier days, they used to have 65%, 65, 15, 20. Or was it 60, 15, and 25? Yes, it used to be 60% for the gate score, gate marks actually normalized out of 60. Then 25 marks were for your qualifications and 15 marks were for your performance in the interview. But now I think they have very clearly written it is 85 for the written exam performance and 15 for the this thing. Okay. Anand, if you don't have your project signed, is it mentioned anywhere that you did not get the project report signed by your HOD? Have you got the degree? If you got the degree, that means your project has been evaluated and you have been given the due recognition for the project work. Don't highlight it yourself. Project report गलती से भी अपने साथ मत लेके चले जाएं. Don't ever carry the project report or the training report with you inside the interview room. No, not at all. Not at all. इनफैक्ट ना एमटेक इंटरव्यू के लिए जरूरत है ये चीज करने की, ना ही किसी भी पीएसयू या किसी भी जॉब इंटरव्यू के लिए करने की जरूरत है. राइट. I'll read the interview call letter, beta. I'll read the interview call letter. If it is there, then I'll definitely have another session for GD preparation also. All right. So when you give the details about your family, it is only occupation. So my father is working in a bank. Presently, he is the branch manager of Union Bank of India, Lucknow branch. My mother is a housewife. I have a younger brother who is pursuing his BTech in electronics and communication from NIT Allahabad. That's it. Don't have to say that I belong to a rural, I have a rural background and I have lived here and this, nothing. Very bright chance that they will not ask this at all. Right? Okay. So the opening question has been answered. Now we will take a look at what are the other probable questions. Let's take a look at that. And in the meanwhile, I'll also read the messages that you have sent in the chat box so that I can cover that. I'm just displaying this list of questions which I intend covering one by one. Let me see the messages in the chat box. You are subjected to group discussion is what is written by Mahendra. Greeted Charlie, I'll look at that later. I'll look at your questions later. Okay. Anil, we will conduct it once again, if at all, if possible, but otherwise, most of the part I'm going to be covering from now onwards only. The most critical part is answer to questions which I have displayed just now. Please take a look at this. Please take a look at this list of questions and see if you have any question other than this. Hemant Reddy, I'll be talking about GD also. Yes, I stand corrected. Abhyuday, if you're working in a PSU and you're not able to get the NOC, then it may be better not to even talk about it in the interview process. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to appear for the interview. Devki, no mock interviews as of now, but if at all we plan, we'll upload that information in the Telegram channels. You can enroll for it. It will be through a paid program. It will not be free. All right. So I hope you have taken a look at the list of these questions and we will take a work on the answers one by one. Don't reproduce the same answer as I am speaking. Let it be in your own words. The idea is that you understand what is the implication of the question. All right. Yes, Adarsh, you can send a mail regarding that. But if it is a blank application format, then obviously you can take application format from anybody and get it going. But send a mail to them immediately so that it can be received by you in time. Okay. Right. See, the questions which I listed, they are not in a particular order, by the way. These are random questions which can be asked from anybody. Okay. Mr. Anil Delu, I have not yet come to the subjects. Please have patience. Again, a request to all of you, hold your questions for the next half an hour, please. Don't post any questions in the chat box for the next half an hour. Let's cover these questions, the reply to these questions, and then you can send your questions in the chat box. Because we will be talking about, what possible questions can be asked from you by way of hobbies. And for that, I'm going to be using a recording. And during that time, obviously, I'll have the chance to read your questions and give you the replies later. Okay. First question, why do you want to join this organization? Now, what is good about ONGC? ONGC is a Maharatna company. But even if ONGC was not a Maharatna company, would you not have wanted to join this organization? Definitely, you would have wanted to join this organization even if it was not a Maharatna. Very clearly, don't convey your, enthusiasm to join the company because of the labels that it carries. You don't want to join ONGC because it's a Maharatna company or obviously it's a highest paying PSU also. But again, that is not something which you can tell. They know it already that it is a PSU which pays the highest of compensation package. I think 22 lakhs is the cost to the company at present. That is what they are advertising, 21 or 22. Anyway, the point here is you want to join this organization because it is giving you an opportunity to make use of your knowledge in the domain which you have studied. You are an electrical engineer, you are going for the position of AEE electrical. That means the work will relate to the utilization of your knowledge as an electrical engineer. You have been shortlisted for AEE mechanical. Again, your knowledge of mechanical engineering is coming into picture. You are going for the position of AEE drilling. Again, drilling mechanical. Once again, utilization of knowledge related to the drilling function in mechanical engineering. You're going for, which is the third one, production. Again, mechanical engineer, production related issues. So the reason why you want to work in ONGC is because you are getting an opportunity to work in the same domain which you have studied, which you have studied by way of your 4 years of BTech. See, if you look at IOCL or if you look at HPCL, or even for that matter, BPCL, the three oil marketing companies, there is always a possibility that even a civil engineer can get posted to marketing or an electrical engineer get posted to operations. Now, when we are talking about operations or marketing, definitely the knowledge of electrical engineering or civil engineering will take a backseat. You don't get the opportunity of using your knowledge of that domain, which you spent 4 years on. So ONGC as an organization, which is giving you the opportunity of working in the same domain, which you have studied by way of your 4 years of engineering. And that is the most important reason why you want to join this organization. और यू कैन एक्चुअली मेक दिस स्टेटमेंट, जरूर बोल सकते हो कि सर मैंने इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग किया है और मैं अपना करियर एज एन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर ही बनाना चाहता हूं, और ओएनजीसी इज वन ऑफ दोज फ्यू ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस व्हिच इज गिविंग मी दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी. बोल सकते हैं. और रियलिस्टिक बात है, आपको उसमें कोई, यू आर नॉट गिविंग ए फेक स्टेटमेंट, यू आर गिविंग ए जेन्युइन स्टेटमेंट, यू आर अवेयर ऑफ इट, एंड दैट इज व्हाई यू आर मेकिंग दैट स्टेटमेंट. Make that statement. Next question is, why should we select? Now, this is the same as what are your strengths? How are you better off than others? Up, don't respond to this question. Oh, you mean to say what are my strengths? जो स्टेटमेंट मैंने अभी दिया है ना, वो स्टेटमेंट एक्चुअली मेरे को सुनने से मिलता है स्टूडेंट से. See, when we were conducting mock interviews left, right, and center, I actually used to get a response. Sir, you mean to say what are my strengths? Sir, I'm hardworking, I'm punctual, I'm very honest, and I'm very helpful to everybody. Very good. But how does that strength of yours helps me as an organization? How is your strength? How is your strength of helping others helpful to me? You have no answer. You are a good human being, but how does it make you a good asset for me, for my organization? That is what you have conveyed. So what are the strengths which are relevant for your contribution to the organization? Sir, I have problem solving skills and I am a team player. Two of my most important strengths. Sir, in my opinion, these are the two most important strengths that I have. एग्जाम्पल नहीं देना है क्योंकि हमने प्रोजेक्ट 4 लोगों की टीम ने मिलकर किया, इसलिए मेरे में टीम वर्किंग है, इसलिए मैं टीम प्लेयर हूं. क्योंकि हमारा प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट हुआ, इसलिए मेरे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स है. यू डोंट हैव टू जस्टिफाई द स्ट्रेंथ. You have to justify only when they ask you to. How do you say that you have problem solving skills? Give that example. Maybe you worked on some small other mini projects. Again, talk about it. Right? So don't justify the statements which you are making while making the statement. Wait for any counter question. Wait for any counter questions to come. एक तीसरी और स्ट्रेंथ भी बोल सकते हैं आप. Suppose as a part of your technical festival or cultural festival which you used to have in your college, you were given the responsibility of conducting a particular event or for organizing something. That means you were given the leadership role. So you can say that I have leadership skills. Again, example आपके पास है अगर आपने कुछ ऐसा काम किया है तो, right? लीडरशिप रोल एक और तरीके से निकल के आता है. कहां से निकल के आता है? मे बी यू आर अ हॉकी प्लेयर एंड यू आर द कैप्टन ऑफ योर ब्रांच हॉकी टीम. अगेन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ लीडरशिप स्किल्स. यू यूज टू प्ले हॉकी रेगुलरली इन स्कूल एंड यू आर द कैप्टन ऑफ योर स्कूल टीम विच वन द zonal hockey tournament. Again, leadership skills coming into the picture. Sir, I was a monitor of my class in class 6, 7th, and 8th. It was far too long back and it doesn't really make any impression. Avoid that. Right? So this question indirectly is your strengths. मान लीजिए इस स्टेज पे आपसे एक सवाल पूछते हैं कि अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आपका ही एक क्लासमेट हमारे पास इंटरव्यू के लिए आया था. अब बिटवीन द टू ऑफ यू, if we have to choose one, whom do you think we should select? And the other person who had come for the interview was the second ranker from your class. It's a tough question, but it is asked. At times it can be asked. अब अपने आप को रिजेक्ट तो करवाना नहीं है. अब इसको एक और तरीके से पूछ सकते हैं, बेस्ड ऑन योर इंटरव्यू टुडे, शुड वी सेलेक्ट यू? अब इमीडिएटली तो बोलना नहीं कि सर यू शुड सेलेक्ट मी. सर, नो डाउट आई कुड हैव डन बेटर, बट आई फील दैट लुकिंग एट माय नॉलेज इन टोटलिटी, यू शुड गिव मी एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू सर्व दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. बोल. और जब कंपैरिजन हो दूसरे कैंडिडेट के साथ, तो बोल दो सर, I don't know how has he performed in the interview, sir, but knowing about my performance based on the interaction that I have had so far with you, I feel you should give me an opportunity. बहुत polite, बहुत humble way बोल दीजिए. कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा, and you will have a smile coming from some of the panel members. कोई दिक्कत. Accept it, acknowledge it. Okay. What do you expect will be your work profile? See, the work profile details you can pick up from the advertisement. But broadly speaking, it will relate to operation and maintenance. In all the four profiles that I talked about, electrical, then mechanical drilling, and mechanical production. In all of them, your job primarily is going to be operation and maintenance. In case of production, obviously your job is also, you are also responsible for meeting the production targets. But meeting the production targets is a function of the proper functioning of the equipment which is there for the production work. That means the pumps which are there, the power that is fueling those pumps, that means the standby power generators which are there in offshore as well as in onshore, they must be functioning properly, right? So directly or indirectly, again, there is an operation and maintenance angle coming into picture, right? So operation and maintenance are the two keywords in terms of your work profile. All right. How will you contribute to our organization? See, you are a mechanical engineer. तुम्हारी तो knowledge अभी तक bookish knowledge है. You are not having any practical knowledge so far. But if you have work experience, obviously you have some relevant practical knowledge also. Definitely you can talk about that also, right? But as a fresher, how will you contribute to the organization where you're going for the interview? As a fresher, the best contribution that can come from you is to complete the task which is given to you within the given time and resource constraint without compromise on quality. There are three keywords in this: time, resource, and quality. These are the three keywords in response to this answer. So the best contribution that I can make to the organization is to complete the tasks given to me, be completed within the given timeline and within the given resources without any compromise on quality. It's a generic statement, but it's a statement which is usually liked. So you can अपने words में इस statement को बना के आप बता सकते हैं. Acceptable and appreciated both, right? Working cohesively with the team that you are a part of, right? Quality, very important. Become, imbibe the ONGC way of working. That is another statement that can be made by you. Okay. What is your career objective? Again, a possible question. See, very clearly your career objective is to excel in the chosen domain. आप electrical engineer हैं, you want to excel, make a career as an electrical engineer, and you want to ultimately rise to the top of the ladder. Top of the ladder, that is a term which I'm using. What is the meaning of this top of the ladder? The meaning of this word top of the ladder is that ultimately I want to be a member on the board of directors. अब आप में से कुछ लोग तो हंसना शुरू कर दोगे, यार पॉसिबल भी है या नहीं है ये तो. Please believe that it is achievable. You can be a member on the board of directors even if you join as AEE. It is fully achievable. Mr. Arun Kumar Singh, who has joined as the chairman of ONGC after his retirement from BPCL, where he was the CMD, he had joined BPCL as a management trainee, maybe 40 years ago. And he kept on rising up the ladder and ultimately he became the CMD. The selection for the members of the board of directors is through Public Enterprise Selection Board, PESB. But eligibility requires you to have worked in the related organization or related domain for a finite number of years, which is made possible. So it is not a tall statement when you say that I want to rise to the top of the ladder. Be a member on the board of directors. Again, a live example I can give you, though it is a little old example. See, I joined Bharat Electronics in 1976 December. The next batch of probationary engineers, they started off in BEL in, I think in February, March 1978. थोड़ा डिले था. February, March 78 के बैच में से there were 4 persons who were member on the board of directors. S.K. Sharma became the chairman managing director of BEL. Amol Nevaskar was the director of other units. Virender Handa was director of Bangalore unit. And PC Jain was director marketing. S.K. Sharma was a pass out of BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. Amol Nevaskar was a pass out of Sati Vidisha. He's from Nagpur. PC Jain was a IIT Delhi pass out, and Virender Handa was a pass out of NIT Kurukshetra. At that time, it was REC Kurukshetra. I happen to know all 4 of them, and I got an opportunity to meet PC Jain at the wedding of a son of my batchmate. Right? The point is achievable. Another classmate of mine, he retired as the CMD of Engineers India Limited. A.K. Purwaha, he retired as the CMD of EIL Limited. Right? It's achievable. It's possible. So it is not just a statement. It is definitely something which is possible to be achieved. Right? You want to make a career in the technical domain for which you have been selected, and ultimately you want to rise to the top of the list. Right? What if you're not selected? So definitely, if you're not selected, you will feel dejected. But don't say it with a smile. थोड़ा रोनी सूरत बना के बोलो, sir, I'll be highly dejected. But sir, perhaps you will find me sitting in front of you next year once again. That means अगले साल आप फिर एडवर्टाइज करोगे, मेरी एज अभी मेरे को परमिट करती है एक बार और अपीयर करने के लिए, and I'll once again write the CBT so that I can get shortlisted for the interview process. And sir, perhaps you will find me sitting in front of you once again. बोला जा सकता है, कोई गलती नहीं है इसमें, right? What if there is a gap after 12th? 2 तरह के गैप्स हैं. एक तो 12वीं कंप्लीट करने के बाद गैप है, 1 साल का या 2 साल का, और दूसरा गैप है आपके बीटेक कंप्लीट करने के बाद. अब जो 12वीं कंप्लीट करने के बाद का गैप है, उसके लिए तो लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन आप दे दीजिए. सर, आई वांटेड टू प्रिपेयर फॉर इंजीनियरिंग एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, देयरफॉर आई टुक अ ड्रॉप आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग माय 12th बोर्ड. चाहे आप किसी भी कॉलेज से आपने बीटेक किया हो, बट आपने ड्रॉप लेके इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में एडमिशन लिया. पॉसिबल टू बी सेट. बट मान लीजिए आपका 12वीं और बीटेक स्टार्ट होने में 3 साल का गैप था, और उस 3 साल में आपने एक्चुअली बीएससी ज्वाइन किया, तो गैप नहीं रहा ना. आपने ऑलरेडी अपने बायोडाटा फॉर्म में भरा है उसको. 3 साल का बीएससी किया, बीएससी केमिस्ट्री ऑनर्स, उसके बाद आपने इंजीनियरिंग में एंट्रेंस दिया, तो गैप तो नहीं रहा जाएगा ना. दैट्स इट. बीटेक के बाद आपका गैप है. अब बीटेक के बाद का जो गैप है, 1 साल का हो, चाहे 2 साल का हो, चाहे 3 साल का हो, but be clear that it was a clear gap, and the gap was primarily because you were wanting to prepare for some competitive exam. It can be GATE, it can be engineering services exam, it can be civil services exam, it can be any other exam, maybe SSC JEE exam. एक generic word है competitive exam with the objective of getting a job. Sir, I started preparing for competitive exams with the objective of getting a job in my domain. Campus placement नहीं मिला था, therefore I started preparing. अच्छा, कौन कौन से एग्जाम्स की तैयारी कर रहे थे? Again, this is an interview conversation. Sir, I was preparing for GATE and the exams which are conducted by various PSUs. See, earlier ONGC used to be conducting through GATE, but this year they have conducted a CBT. Obviously, there is a lot of overlap between GATE and the CBT syllabus for which we had appeared. That's it. बिल्कुल बोलिएगा आप, कोई उसमें बोलने में कोई प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं, राइट? चाहे 1 साल का गैप है, चाहे 2 साल का गैप है, चाहे 3 साल का गैप है, बोल दीजिए. बट अगर 4 साल या 5 साल या 6 साल का गैप है, तो you can wait till the end of the session. We can have a chat using Zoom itself and we'll carry forward that discussion. Okay? अभी कोई messages मत डालिएगा. If you're done MTech, that is not a gap. If you're completed MTech, 2 years are bridged. 2 साल bridge हो जाते हैं, right? Question can be, why is your academic performance inconsistent? First year में आपका percentage 85% इन 12th से ड्रॉप होके आ गया 60% पे। क्यों भाई इतना कम हो गया? द रियल रीजन इज newfound freedom made you go berserk. You are not paying any attention to your studies, and therefore your performance in the exam dropped miserably. But ये बोल तो नहीं सकते। अब इसको बताने के लिए तो एक बड़ा प्रॉपर पॉलिश्ड वे होना चाहिए। So the new mode of learning, I took time to adjust to it. Therefore, my first year performance was very bad. But I very quickly made amends and started improving from second semester onwards. अगर actually ऐसा हुआ है तो दूसरा रीजन बोल दीजिए कि सर मैं हिंदी मीडियम स्कूल में पढ़ा था, कॉलेज में इंग्लिश मीडियम में पढ़ाई होती थी, तो थोड़ा सा मेरे को एडजस्ट होने में टाइम लगा और इसलिए मेरा फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर का परफॉर्मेंस तो काफी खराब गया। सेकेंड सेमेस्टर में थोड़ा सा इंप्रूवमेंट हुआ एंड उसके बाद फिर काफी इंप्रूवमेंट होता चला। एक्सेप्टेबल, एक्सेप्टेबल। मेरा भी फर्स्ट ईयर में परफॉर्मेंस ड्रॉप हुआ था। मेरा 11th बोर्ड का परसेंटेज 82% था और मेरा फर्स्ट ईयर का जो परसेंटेज था दैट वाज 76, 6% का। उसके बाद आई वाज कंसिस्टेंट बिटवीन 80 and 83, okay, and finally aggregate was 82.75. That's okay, doesn't matter. The point is anything above the qualifying percentage is what they are concerned with. But yes, this can be a question which can be asked. मान लीजिए आपका बाकी सारे सेमेस्टर्स में ठीक रहा, बट 7th सेमेस्टर में आपका एकदम डिप आ गया, और वो डिप आने का कारण था कि एक पर्टिकुलर टीचर से आपका हो गया झगड़ा और उसने आपको ई ग्रेड दिया। नेचुरली इट कैन बी रियली पुलिंग यू डाउन बैडली। तो आप ये तो नहीं ना बताएंगे कि सर मैंने तो आई क्रॉस पाथ विद माय प्रोफेसर एंड देयरफॉर ही पेनलाइज्ड मी। Say it in a very polite way. So on the day of the exam, I was running very high fever and I could not really perform to the best of my capabilities. I could barely complete the response to 2 questions, which enabled me to just pass the exam. काफी है, इससे ज्यादा elaborate मत करना। कोई दिक्कत नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ठीक है? Why did you pursue MTech और why did you not pursue MTech? दोनों सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं। एमटेक परस्यू करने का कारण तो सिंपली ये बताओ कि सर 2 साल मैं अटेम्प्ट कर रहा था वेरियस एग्जाम्स को, मेरा परफॉर्मेंस इंप्रूव नहीं हो रहा था। देयरफॉर आई डिसाइडेड टू रिवाइज और गो बैक टू माय लर्निंग थ्रू फॉर्मल मास्टर्स कोर्स एंड आई रियली गॉट एडवांटेज एंड एज a result I qualified in, I got a better gate score as well as I qualified in the written exam of more than 1 PSU। बता दीजिए। और एमटेक परस्यू क्यों नहीं किया, उसका कारण भी सिंपल है। अगर मैं एमटेक करता हूं तो मेरे को एक एमटेक की स्पेशलाइजेशन लेनी पड़ती है, और जो एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं दे लुक एट मी एज अ स्पेशलिस्ट इन दोज दैट डिसिप्लिन रादर देन बीइंग अ जनरल इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर, विच रिड्यूसेस द अपॉर्चुनिटीज फॉर मी। दूसरा रीजन है कि अगर मैं एमटेक ज्वाइन करता हूं, क्योंकि मेरा मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव जॉब है, तो एक सेमेस्टर के बाद अगर मेरे को जॉब मिल जाता है तो मेरे को एमटेक बीच में छोड़ना पड़ता, विच आई वॉज नॉट वॉन्टिंग टू डू। देयरफॉर आई डिसाइडेड टू कंटिन्यू माई प्रिपरेशन विदाउट ज्वाइनिंग एमटेक। दोनों आंसर्स एक्सेप्टेबल हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। बट जिस सिंसियरिटी से आप आंसर देते हैं, दैट इज व्हाट विल मेक द एंटायर डिफरेंस। ऑल राइट, बिग क्वेश्चन, व्हाई नॉट प्राइवेट सेक्टर, व्हाई ओनली ओएनजीसी, व्हाई ओनली गवर्नमेंट जॉब? अब इसका क्या जवाब है? इसके लिए भी तो कोई आंसर होना चाहिए ना। इसका तो बड़ा सिंपल आंसर है। इट इज नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ जॉब सिक्योरिटी और जॉब स्टेबिलिटी एंड नॉट फॉर द हाई पे पैकेज। नो, सी व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, the policies are uniform for everybody who joins that organization. Like for example, if you join as AWE electrical in ONGC, every single person will get identical salary. The promotion policies will be the same for every single person who is joining along with you. There is no differential scheme for promotion policies for A or B or C. No, nothing of that sort, right? And you actually get an opportunity to keep growing up the ladder in a planned way. That is not something which is possible in private organizations. That is not possible in private organizations. So the biggest reason why I want to work in a government organization is A, because they're very large organizations. And being large organizations, obviously you get diverse opportunities of learning and contributing to the organization. Definitely, it's something which can be stated. Like look at ONGC. What is the turnover of ONGC? Maybe about 1 lakh crores, or maybe even higher. We'll take a look at it in a while, right? Growth opportunities in a planned manner and clear transparency in the policies of the organization are the motivating force behind me wanting to work in a government organization. चाहे ONGC है, चाहे HPCL है, चाहे IOCL है, सभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का एक कॉमन ट्रेट है, policies are transparent, they are available on the HR page, and they are uniform for everybody. If you're working in a private organization, the first thing that is told to you by HR is, please don't disclose your compensation package. It is confidential. आपको PSU में कोई ऐसा नहीं बोलेगा. Because it is not confidential. It is like an open book. So, reason enough for you to want to work in a government organization, right? Why did you leave your previous job? Reason for leaving previous job cannot be that you had long hours of working and there was no holidays and you were made to work on even on holidays. There were छुट्टी की policy नहीं होती थी, कोई भी increment कम था, salary low था. Not these reasons. See, long working hours, low salaries, slow promotion policy cannot be the reason. So you wanted to work in a government organization, but you had to take up a job with the clear objective in mind that you will simultaneously keep preparing for the competitive exams. But after working for 1 year, I realized that it is either I work or I prepare. And therefore, I decided to leave and prepare only for the government job. Acceptable. आपने 3 साल आईटी कंपनी में जॉब किया, आप इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हैं, आपका वर्क प्रोफाइल आपकी क्वालिफिकेशन के साथ बिल्कुल मैच नहीं करता. So why did you take up IT job and then you are wanting to leave after 3 years? So this was the only opportunity which I got as a part of my campus placement, and taking up a job was necessary due to the financial conditions. Therefore, I opted and started working in the IT company, and I can't leave because of the financial needs. Straight answer, honest answer, not questionable. आपने 6 महीने किसी आईटी कंपनी में काम किया या आपने 6 महीने किसी कंसल्टिंग कंपनी में काम किया and you were getting very high salary. Maybe you worked in Ernst & Young and you were getting a package of about 12 lakhs. It's possible. But then after working for 7-8 months, you decided to leave. रीजन वही दो कि काम के साथ मेरी तैयारी नहीं हो पा रही थी. Straight and simple. And the work obviously did not connect with the domain of my study. I took up the job knowing that it is not connected with my study, but because of the financial needs, I started working and preparing simultaneously. But then after a point in time, the work required me to devote more and more time and put my preparation on the back seat. Therefore, I took a decision of stopping work and paying full attention to my preparation. Acceptable, कोई इशू नहीं, बोल सकते हो. अब एक टफ क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इफ ओएनजीसी गेट्स प्राइवेटाइज? तब क्या करोगे? तुम तो गवर्नमेंट में जॉब करना चाहते हो और कल को ओएनजीसी प्राइवेटाइज हो जाता है तो क्या करोगे? Sir, I honestly don't think ONGC will get privatized. But sir, even if it gets privatized, the domain in which it is working will continue to remain the same. And the knowledge and experience that I'll gain by working with ONGC will enable me to continue even in the private role of the organization. And I definitely do not see any difficulty in me wanting to continue, because the learning from ONGC will enable me to take advantage in even if it gets privatized. बोल दीजिए, कोई नुकसान नहीं है, acceptable answer है. Last question, why not engineering services? Why ONGC? Why not engineering services? Have you got shortly? Are you preparing for ESC prelims. Have you got shortlist? Are you appearing for the ESC prelims exam, which is going to be taking place? आने वाला है ना अब तो. Or have you appeared in the ESC exam earlier? Yes, sir. I have been appearing for ESC exam earlier also. The reason is very clearly, it gives me an opportunity to test my state of preparation in comparison with a large number of students. That is the reason why I have been appearing for the engineering services exams. Why not engineering services job and why ONGC? See, engineering services jobs are more about policy and monitoring. And ONGC, or for that matter, any other PSU job, is about implementation. I'm more keen to work in an organization where I get involved in the implementation work rather than in policy and monitoring. That is what drives me towards a PSU rather than towards ESC jobs. आपके बोलने के तरीके के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा. Be clear on that, right? Be clear on that. Okay. So I hope we are through with these questions. All right. Let me just take a quick look at what are the messages in the chat. Subjects I'm going to be talking now immediately after this. Prefer to go clean shave. Nitish. Gap after working for a while. Anand, I hope you have got the answer. If my work ex is not related to core, I have already answered this question. See, you have to fill the details about the job. You have to fill the details about the job, but ultimately it is up to them to go in more grilling. That's it. MADE name cannot be mentioned. Never mention about joining MADE for preparing for competitive exam. In fact, never mention about joining any coaching institute. If they say, "Acha, apne aap tayari ki," yes, sir. But yes, as a part of checking my state of readiness, I was appearing for test series. That's it. Wearing blazer is optional. Are you willing to work in a jungle? Sir, as long as it's the workplace, I don't have any issue. But I'll not be staying in the jungle for endless period. Work was related to core, but obviously reasons तो हो गए ना, policies, right? Okay. Fine. Let's take a look at what are the preferred subjects. Mechanical, obviously some of the common subjects. SOM is very important. Fluid mechanics and machinery both. Pumps and compressors, turbines, steam turbine in case there is any thermal plant, but steam turbine in case of, let me remove it. Let me just keep it generic. Pumps, compressors, and turbines. Thermodynamics and heat transfer are important. Material science can be important for, let's say, drilling. Fuels and properties, very, very important. IC engines and power plant engineering, again important. RAC is only if no other choice. Let me write it here. Only if no other subjects. I'll also add production. For right? See, I have the folder that I'm going to be sharing will have some write-ups about drilling, will have some write-ups about the specific requirement of knowledge for drilling purposes. There'll be some further notes related to the drilling rigs because offshore will have drilling rigs and onshore obviously will have a little different approach to the drilling process. But deep drilling is something which will continue to be there in both the cases. The depth at which the oil is found in offshore and onshore can be going beyond 6,000 to 8,000 feet, right? Some important news related to the milestones achieved by ONGC can also be helpful. Possibly these write-ups are also included in the folder that I'm going to be sharing with you. All right. For electrical engineering, obviously, the core subjects will remain electrical machines, must prepare transformers very thoroughly, AC and DC machines, definitely very important. Power electronics, control systems, power systems with focus on generation and distribution, not really on transmission. These areas can be. Protection switchgear is probably going to form the bulk of questions related to electrical engineers. Otherwise, you can add measurements and network. Let me put network on top. Not on top really, but after measurements. You can have analog electronics or EMT if you want. But ideally speaking, restrict within the top 6 subjects, right? Restrict within the top 6 subjects. Control systems is an important subject for you. Okay. Right. Typical questions, if I just take an example of some questions for pumps, for example, what is an impeller? What is a propeller? What is the difference? What material? What is the need for priming of pumps? If you want, can you make a block diagram? Can you make the block diagram of a thermal power station? The basic building blocks. What is a coal handling plant, right? Then there could be questions related to boilers. There could be questions related to heat exchangers, types of heat exchangers, right? There could be questions. There could be as simple questions as the 3 laws of basic laws of thermodynamics. Why is the 0th law came after the first law, right? So again, these can be typical questions. There could be questions related to the various cycles, the Carnot cycle or the other cycles coming into picture. In fluid mechanics, there could be questions related to the various dimensionless numbers and their significance, right? All these are possible questions, okay? There could be questions related to quality aspects. There could be questions related to scheduling. There could be questions related to the different types of maintenance, preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, breakdown maintenance. What is the importance of each of them? What is the role played by preventive maintenance? Why is it always recommended to be followed? Again, matter of fact answers, right? They are least likely to ask you to go for any derivations in this interview. No derivations here. No derivations here. I'm saying very less likely. Now, at this stage, what I want to do is I'll just close this PPT now. I'll close the PPT now, and I'll display the corporate presentation, because that is where the details about ONGC are going to get covered. The details about ONGC are going to get covered by way of the corporate presentation. I'll be sharing that particular PDF. It is already there on the website of ONGC. So let me just one by one take up the corporate presentation, very quickly running through it. But then, no, there were 2-3 more slides. Let me again go back to the slideshow. The 2-3 slides which I have missed out, I just recalled, are related to the members on the board of directors. Here it is. Arun Kumar Singh is the CMD. Right. Pankaj Kumar is Director Production. Sushma Rawat is the Direction Exploration. Manish Patil is Director HR. Then we have Vivek Tongaonkar, who is the Director of Finance. Arunangshu Sarkar is the Director of Strategy and Corporate Affairs. And finally, Vikram Saxena is Director of Technology and Field Service. You may not remember the names of all these directors, but the name of Arun Kumar Singh should be remembered by you, right? It should be remembered by you. All right. I guess that's about it. And you can make a note of my email ID just in case you have any queries, you can write to me. It's dkarora@madeeasy.in. You have received the mail from me, those of you who are joined on the Zoom. If not, then others can just make a note of it. But whenever you send me a mail, please send complete particulars. Incomplete mail will not receive any response from me. All right. Let's go back now. Let me go back to the three documents which I want to discuss. The first of these documents is the application form and the call letter, right? Let me see where I have got them. I had opened the PDF. Let me see if it is there. Okay, this is the advertisement which was there for the recruitment. Let's see if there is anything important which has to be seen in this. Even grade, various vacancies have been given. You have geology, geophysics, physics, mechanical engineering, drilling, mechanical engineering, production, mechanical engineering per se, and electrical engineering, right? See, as I said, this does not seem to be a complete advertisement. There will be more recruitments they will be making. Either maybe they'll make it as a part of their 2025 second advertisement they will come out with, right? Let's see if they have mentioned anything. Okay, age limits, obviously, it's clearly mentioned 26 years and with 3 years relaxation for OBC NCL and 5 years relaxation for SC/ST and 10 years relaxation for the persons with benchmark disabilities. Selection process. CBT of 2 hours duration, that's very clear. The final selection will be based on CBT and performance in the personal interview. See, in this advertisement, they have very clearly written it is interview with a weightage of 15 marks and CBT score with a weightage of 85 marks. They have not made any mention about the GD. But let's take a look at the call letter. If there is any mention about GD, we'll take a look at that and we'll cover that also. But not today. It will have to be by way of a separate session because that again will go on for about 2 hours. I think this was all as far as the advertisement is concerned. Let's move on. This was presentation title. Yes. No, this is not something which I want to see. Okay, I got it now. I'll take a look at the chat statements, chat messages in a while. Yes, here it is. Okay, the call letter. This was the application form, I think. Yes, this is the application form, right? Somebody said GD. The selection process will comprise of document verification and personal interview. Additionally, you will also be subjected to a group discussion. Fine, they are very clearly written here, subjected to a group discussion. So that means we will we'll conduct another session. Maybe tomorrow we'll have to conduct one more session. Probably we'll have to do it from 4 p.m. We'll have to do it from 4 p.m. tomorrow because I have another session lined up from 8 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll have to do it from 4 o'clock. We'll see, we'll work out. But please make sure that you are filling up the details in the Google Forms. Please make sure that you're filling up the details in the Google Form, because we'll be sending an invitation using the email IDs which have been submitted in the Google Forms, not otherwise, right? So Gmail, we'll have to be going through the GD preparation also. The list of documents which are required in original, the certificate of age and educational qualification from 10th class onwards. That means the 10th class certificate, 12th class certificate, and your BTech degree. And MTech, if you are completed, in case of passing marks are given in CGPA, then certificate from the university or institute for the equivalence is required. The call letter, the printout of the call letter, right? A valid photo ID proof, which can be a voter ID card, a driving license, a passport, PAN card with a photograph, and Aadhaar card. Any of these documents will work, right? If you're a final year student, even your identity card issued by the college will work as a valid photo identity proof, though it's not mentioned, but it's accepted. Then we have the caste and category certificate need to be valid, a latest non-creamy layer certificate in the prescribed format for central government services. The format may be downloaded from the website. It's already there. I'm sure you all have it. NOC in original if employed in government, quasi-government, PSU organization as on the date of interview. If not available, undertaking will be taken and his candidature will be provisional subject to the fulfilling the undertaking. Well, you have the alternative available. You can give an undertaking about the NOC, right? Reimbursement of the fare, the interview call is automatically generated purely based on your declaration. The eligibility criteria will have to be met by you, and they may refuse to conduct an interview in case you are not fulfilling the eligibility criteria, right? Okay. So this was one part of it. Then we come to the application form, which is to be filled up. Let's see if there is anything important there. See, it is coming pre-filled. The rest of it is to be filled up by you. It's a blank. The rest of it has to be filled up by you, right? The name as written. If there is any correction, you have to indicate yes or no in the last column, right? These are all standard inputs. No, it is coming pre-populated with information. So you'll have to request the issuance of this application form if you have already deleted it. And I wonder, why do you delete these things? And if it has come to you as a mail, are you telling me that you have deleted the mail? And if you have done that, I think you can, there cannot be a person who is more reckless than you. This is coming pre-filled. You see, if you're noticing something has been blanked out, that means it is coming pre-filled. Qualification details from, you have to give the qualifying degree, experience details as applicable, and then the declaration. That's it. Nothing else. This is a matter of fact form only. There is nothing significant in this form, right? Okay. So again, let's stop the sharing of this. Let me take a look at the messages in the chat. I think that about brings me to the end of my coverage for today. Any queries, you can raise hands or send a message in the chat box. I am also available on the Google chat. So in case there is a message in the Google chat, I'll read it and respond in the session itself. Vinayak, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, beta. Good evening. Tell me.
सर मैं व्हाइट शर्ट और नेवी ब्लू कलर की पैंट पहन के जा रहा हूँ, तो आपने बोला था ब्लैक अलाउड नहीं है, तो
there is a problem in your voice. Can you be a little more clearer?
सर आई एम वेयरिंग व्हाइट कलर शर्ट एंड नेवी ब्लू कलर पैंट, सर। तो आपने बोला था सर कि
there is no
प्रेफर्ड नहीं है
problem.
ब्लैक और
No, there is no problem. You can use that.
ओके सर। एंड सर नेवी ब्लू पैंट पे ब्लैक शूज चल जाएगा सर?
Navy blue pant?
ब्लैक शूज विथ लेस।
Yes.
और सर कैन यू प्रेफर tie color on the white color shirt, sir?
Tie color can be dark blue, It can be dark gray. It can be black with some spots. Don't use very plain ties. Don't use plain ties.
Okay, sir.
In the folder that I'm going to be mailing to you, I'll try to share some sample pictures of ties also. I'll see if I can locate those pictures. Okay.
Okay, sir. No problem.
Anil, tie is not compulsory. I have already stated use a tie only if you are comfortable. Don't use a tie only for the sake of using a tie. Otherwise, half the time you will be conscious about the knot of the tie.
And sir, can you please tell the duration of the interview, sir? उन्होंने उसमें लिखा है सर कि एक दिन एक्सटेंड हो सकता है सर, जैसे मेरा 9 तारीख को है तो 10 तारीख तक हो सकता है.
Normally they complete it on the same day, beta. That is only for as an abundant caution that they mention extra day. But usually they complete on the same day.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Let me just ask the people who are present today. Has any of you got the time of the interview as anything other than morning? Can you just write the timing of the interview in the chat box? If it is anything other than 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. 8 a.m. is the time given. And they will complete the entire process on the same day. Don't worry. They call only that many number of candidates who are possible to be taken care by way of interview and group discussion within that same day. See, there'll not be one single panel. There'll be multiple panels. I don't know if you are aware or not, but let me just see how many calls are there. I think a total of 900 calls are there for all the disciplines put together. So they have multiple panels running for the same discipline also. So it will not stretch over to more than the day. They write it only as a caution. GD will not be elimination round. No, GD will not be elimination round. You see, the only two PSUs where GD has been an elimination round during the last, let's say, 10, 12 years that I have been associated with the PSU selection process, one is BPCL and the second one is HPCL. In BPCL, there used to be one case study round and there used to be two interview rounds. And they used to eliminate after every round. Same case with HPCL, there is a group task and there is an interview. And they eliminate after the group task. And obviously, they are eliminating after the interview also. But ONGC, there is no elimination, not to the best of my knowledge. Prashant, you cannot be aggressive in PSU in GDs. Never. Don't even think of being aggressive. You will straight away get a 0. Black pen is fine. Anil, black pen is fine. No problems. Anybody else who wants to be unmuted and raise question? You can raise your hand or you can unmute. Not an issue. Currently, Gitesh has written, I'm in my final year and I have not done much project work as of now. Just be aware of the title, be aware of the scope of work, and you can say, sir, it is still being worked upon. We are still working on the our final observations and stitching the report. If you can just share the title of your project, maybe I can share a few more thoughts about it. Raj has sent a message about MTech interview call from ISC. Please, you fill up, look at the notification in the Made Easy Telegram groups and submit the required dates, required information by mail. If the project title is wireless dynamic charging of EVs, fine. So the wireless means what frequency at which the power will get transmitted, what are the ratings of the charging, what is the requirement of EV, what voltage, what backup, what time taken, then the concept of the trickle charge and the float and trickle, basically about the charging equipment. There can be a lot of questions on that. Vinayak, you want to carry the backpack so that you can move on to the airport or railway station from there? I think they will allow you. They'll permit. Passing certificate you don't have till now. Why? You don't even have a provisional letter with provisional certificate which you got from your school. Do you have the mark sheet at least? At least one document you have to have. ONGC AEE mechanical production job. See, it is about meeting the production targets, which means the pumping of the crude oil. Primarily meeting the requirement of the pumping of the crude oil on a day to day or on a weekly or on a monthly basis as per the target that has been given. GS Reddy, you can send a mail saying that I made a mistake and make the correction by hand on the application form and carry an extra printout with you with the hand correction carried out. Abdullah, provisional mark sheet will be fine. Provisional certificate and mark sheet will do the job, but make arrangements to get the original. Tie color, again, the tie colors, Alok, will remain the same. You can use a dark blue color tie with some spots on it or dots on it. And you can even use a black color tie with dots or spots or whatever. Aditi, I had stated right in the beginning, business formal is to be avoided for the government job interviews, even if you are experienced. Why we chose production, drilling, and mechanical as it was on our end at this time? See, which one have you chosen, Nikhil? So then my answer will be as per that. If you chose production, because I have keen interest in production, will make it goal oriented. See, in no other aspect, in no other job, there is a target fixed. This is the only profile where there is a production target. So that is what you can do. Drilling is the toughest job. Drilling is actually the toughest job. And you can say that, sir, I believe it requires me to be working on in a 14-day on and 14-day off. So which is what attracted me to this. That's it. Competency certificate for electrical supervisor, there is a time for it. They give you 2 years to get it. And they will normally make arrangements to get it lined up for you. Don't worry. And don't say that you will line it up for me. You say that, sir, I'll get it organized during the next year or so. It's very clearly written in the advertisement itself that you have to get it within 2 years of joining. And it's not something great. It's just making an application to the department. It varies from state to state and get it. There is no exam. There is no nothing. I might be having some details for some states. I'll try sharing it in the folder. I try to include it in the folder, not to worry. Shubham, please unmute. Yes,
गुड
Shubham.
इवनिंग सर।
Yes, beta. Good evening.
सर अभी लास्ट इंटरव्यू मैंने HPCL का दिया था, बट सर मेरा प्रोजेक्ट अपना नहीं था, मैंने किसी फ्रेंड का प्रोजेक्ट लिया था।
ठीक है।
बट उन्होंने 80% टाइम जो फोकस था उनका प्रोजेक्ट के रिगार्डिंग था।
तो बेटा
And
प्रोजेक्ट को तैयार करके जाओ ना, चाहे चोरी किया हुआ प्रोजेक्ट क्यों ना हो।
सर काफी ट्राई किया था, बट उन्होंने 80% टाइम जो था इंटरव्यू का टोटली
So
प्रोजेक्ट
that
पे
is why I
फोकस किया
say,
था।
that is why I say, whatever project you claim to be yours, you must be prepared to face cross questioning. So be thorough with it. And ONGC interview can also have a lot of questions on the project, by the way.
ओके सर। एंड सर क्या मुझे अपने गेट के मार्क्स एंड रैंक बताना चाहिए उनको?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं। जब तक वो ना पूछे तब तक नहीं बताना। और गेट से रिलेटेड कोई डॉक्यूमेंट फोल्डर में नहीं डाल के रखना।
ओके सर।
See, all these things I convey right in the beginning itself. You must have noticed it.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, बेटा। राइट। कविता, दुपट्टा आप सिर्फ अपने शोल्डर पे लटका लीजिए, बस इतना काफी है। वेल फोल्डेड दुपट्टा जस्ट हैंगिंग ऑन योर शोल्डर इज व्हाट इज नीडेड, नथिंग एल्स. You can do it before you enter the premises of ONGC. Vedansh, do you want me to unmute you? You can just raise your hand. Alok, your question has been answered. You can answer, you can mention your gate rank as academic achievement, but then they will say that what if you get shortlisted by some other PSU based on your gate rank? What will you do? Yes, Vedansh, unmute.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes, beta, good evening.
Sir, if I have any other offer letter in my hand and I have the joining after the ONGC interview, and if they ask that whether you have any offer from other PSU or something, so what should be my answer?
I think avoid mentioning it.
I'll not mention, sir, but if they ask if you have any other offers, should I
Sir,
tell them?
I am trying for a job. I am trying for a job.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
it.
sir. Okay.
See, my clear goal is to start working as soon as possible. Okay. Right. Mahindra has 2 years experience in JSW Steel, and I have resigned in January 2025. Sir, because I wanted to focus on my GATE during the final stages and the various exams that were coming my way, therefore, I finally decided to leave and focus entirely on my exam and interview process. That's it. Chetan have done summer training at ONGC Dehradun, but in which department were you posted? थोड़ा सा उसको recall कर लेना बस, और अगर ज़्यादा पूछते हैं तो बोलना sir, I had gone there 6 years back and sir, my apologies, but I have very minimal recall. थोड़ा बहुत याद कर लेना क्या था, आइडेंटिफाई कर लेना कौन सा तुम्हारे नॉलेज से रिलेटेड वर्क था. Which department at ONGC Dehradun were you given the summer training? And what is your branch? Will it be manageable, beta? Chetan? Okay, I think we'll close the session, and those of you who have filled up the details in the Google Forms, they will receive the related documents by mail by maybe tomorrow evening or earliest day after tomorrow. It will be a fairly exhaustive coverage, and you can manage it by reading all the documents that are included there. All right. So more messages. 2 years gap after work in mechanical maintenance. Again, your goal was to work in a government organization or a PSU, and in order to get success in that, I had to really devote a lot of time in preparation. And it really took me time to start clearing the cutoffs of the various government exams. Hold on, कोई problem नहीं है. All right. See, tomorrow either tomorrow or day after, we'll most probably plan the GD preparation session tomorrow from 4 p.m. and you receive the invitation by mail through the Zoom session. All right. I'll close the session now. Thank you very much. Best wishes and get going. Thank you.